Everyone feels good about being charitable. While living in the United Kingdom, I once had a conversation with a white couple about their giving to African charities. They were trying to let me know how much they cared about poverty in Africa. They really meant well, but I couldn't fathom why they thought they needed to discuss that with me. I didn't need charity. They claimed they send money to these particular international charities and were taken aback when I told them that even though it was nice of them to help, their gestures wouldn't change the problems. I pointed out to them that for a proper solution to be found, African leaders will need to deal with their own people honestly. I know that many African countries have been hampered by the intervention and influence of Western nations in their affairs, and if they are to experience true growth, they will need to break those bonds and determine the destinies of their nations by themselves. This itself is another issue, but that's not why I'm here. Wars and coups have been facilitated in Africa for thoughts of freedom and self-actualization that don't fit in with Western policies. I further told them that the chunk of what they give does not get to the intended recipients. It is estimated that around 30% of the money collected does not go to the cause but to administration, etc. If you give $100, $30 won't make it. I was surprised that they didn't know this. I told them it would do them well to research locally based charities with a track record of true connection to the recipients, or for them to fund projects directly. I know this is also filled with risks, but if done properly, their donations would go further and address intended targets. Still, it won't solve the issues of Africa. In a bid to help, many are ticking the conscience box without actually doing much to reverse the situation or solve the underlying problems. This is the problem with the way equity is applied to help blacks today, and this is why those who usually benefit from equity are those who are grossly unqualified for the positions they hold, while the more capable blacks are left to flounder as quotas are met. Those who claim to be helping are mostly part of the problem. You don't support a person who is being abused at home by providing them with clean bedsheets to sleep on in the same home, but you find a way of removing the problem and the person can then buy their bedsheets by themselves. There's more dignity in that. Also, if you truly care about someone, you make room for them to thrive. The honorable thing is to sacrifice your seat for someone you feel has been unjustly denied one on a bus. You don't remain in your seat and ask others to vacate theirs for them. Sincere and selfless help comes with some sacrifice. This is what many whites are doing as they claim they support the black cause. In reality, the white savior complex won't get blacks where they deserve to be. Blacks need to be able to take responsibility for their own successes. It is no other person's job. Contrary to what people focus on, the main issue of black discrimination is the lack of opportunity to progressively ascend to senior positions or those of authority as their counterparts are. Not what politicians and the media claim are the problems. Those become distractions while unfairness continues to be perpetuated. You cannot take the opportunities blacks are denied from getting to and claim you are in support of blacks attaining them. You are the one denying them the opportunity because you are the one who took that opportunity. Blacks are now being given elevated positions as a product of protest or the similitude of care. Positions that some do not merit. It seems for us to attain, we need to be done a favor. We will take anything at this point, but the problem is that if they fail, it becomes an argument for the incompetence of blacks as a whole. Simply playing into the hands of the prejudiced. A charity case. This is a really unfortunate state of circumstance. We don't need charity, we need fairness. We need justice. We need equality. This brings us back to the issue of equity. We don't need equity either. The fact that equity is being pushed is an acknowledgement that there is a problem. The problem is evident, and rather than push actions that simply mask the problems, the drive should be aimed at eliminating it. Telling blacks that they can't reach their goals unless they are assisted is unconsciously telling them that they don't have the competence to attain their goals by their own qualifications and competence. Nobody ever talked about equity when the entire lineup of finalists in a 100m race at the Olympics is occupied by blacks. They were simply the best. Imagine if they add a couple of whites to the lineup or start them at the 20m mark in the name of equity. The funny thing is that we are now seeing more whites in the semifinals and finals of these events through their sheer hard work. Some are even winning events that were thought to be the exclusive domain of blacks. Imagine a white guy winning the dunk contest at the NBA. Well, it happened, and he is respected for it. Imagine if he was not allowed to contest because he was white and another white guy without the ability is selected to compete based on equity. It was not even conceivable in recent memory that in 1 year, we would have a white guy as the slam dunk champion and the finals MVP, and they earned it. They weren't given it. That is equality, not equity. Equality is what blacks are seeking. Equity confers a feeling of inferiority or being done a favor. Equity might be what is being pushed at present, but the goal should be equality. Eliminate the problem by conscious actions and equality will be achieved. We deserve what we seek, we are not begging for it. I can support some level of equity where access to knowledge or education is historically missing. Once the knowledge is attained, it is dignifying to earn and grow because it is merited rather than gifted. Remember that you, who are attempting to help me, are sitting in the position I am trying to get to, and when a push becomes a shove, selfishness and self-preservation will kick in. Sacrifice and charity are thrown out the window. You'll do what benefits you even if it means aligning, explaining, or staying silent on what's wrong. Evil is progressed only if the good chooses to stay silent. Look in the mirror, you'll see the problem.